Welcome back to the newest edition of the Grand Valley State Sports Report on WGVU. I'm your host, Jake Levy. The weather tried its best to interfere this weekend, but the Lakers powered through. GVSU softball swept Wisconsin Parkside last week before the weather forced them to move the rest of their weekend to a later date. Head coach Dana Callahan will join us to discuss her team. The Laker lacrosse team got back in the win column this week as they beat both McKendree and Maryville at home. Head coach Mackenzie Lawler will join us later in the show. GVSU baseball lost all three matchups this week, first against Central Michigan on Tuesday, then again in a doubleheader against Saginaw Valley on Friday, and then had its games on Saturday and Sunday canceled. We'll give you a rundown of those games in today's show. We will also feature the Lakers softball team as they find contributions from some unlikely places on the diamond this year. Lock it in, Laker Nation, as the Grand Valley State Sports Report starts right now. The GVSU men's tennis team hit the court this week for three impressive wins. The team beat Hillsdale on Thursday, Northwood on Saturday, and Ferris State on Sunday. Against Hillsdale on Thursday, GVSU captured the first point of the match from doubles with wins from number 2 and number 3 doubles. Jack Geisler and Martin Matov paired up at the number 2 doubles and won, as Nicholas Urban and Jack Dousman also captured a victory from the number 3 spot. The Lakers battled hard in singles as they took 4 out of the 6 matches. Sebastian Lasculi won from the number 1 singles in 3 sets, while Geisler tallied a win from the number 2 spot. Dousman fell from number 3 singles, while Matov captured the Lakers' 4th point as he won from the number 4 slot. Playing from the number 5 position was Urban, who won in 3 sets. Traveling to Northwood on Saturday, the Lakers battled hard in doubles, but Northwood took the match's first point as they won all 3 matches. Down 1-0 heading into singles, GVSU turned things around as they won 4 out of 6 singles matches. Playing from the number 1 singles was Sebastian Lasculi, who won, while Jack Geisler tallied another point from the number 2 position in a 3-set match. Northwood scored its second and third point of the match from the number 3 and number 4 positions as Jack Dousman dropped the decision for number 3 singles and Martin Matov fell in 3 sets. The Lakers scored their final 2 points as Nicholas Urban won in 3 sets from the number 5 singles and Eric Zwemmer captured a win from the number 6 slot. Rounding out the weekend against Ferris on Sunday, the Lakers would beat the Bulldogs in a nail-biter to get the victory over the Bulldogs, a feat that has not been achieved since April 2009. The team started the match in doubles as FSU scored the first point of the match after they won from the number 1 and number 2 pairings. GVSU did win from the number 3 doubles position after Jack Dousman and Nicholas Urban won. GVSU started its comeback as they tied things up at the number 1 singles after Lasculi won. FSU scored the next 2 points as they won from the number 2 and number 3 singles. The Lakers would score their next 3 points and clinch the match on the final matchup as all 3 remaining matches were sent to 3 sets. Eric Zwemmer captured a big win from the number 6 singles as he won and closed the gap within 1 point. Playing from the number 5 position was Urban, who fell in the first set and then won the next 2 sets. With the match tied 3-3 and only 1 contest to go, it all came down to number 4 singles as Matov dropped the first set but then came back and won the next 2 sets and clinched the win for the Lakers. Grand Valley State is now 13-5 on the year and will be back in action next weekend as they host Ashland and Wayne State. While the weather was throwing the weekend games in doubt, the GVSU softball team was able to make their home debut against Wisconsin Parkside on Wednesday. The Lakers won the doubleheader by a combined score of 15-2 and pushed their record to an impressive 21-3. Joining us now to talk about our team is head coach Dana Callahan. And coach, the weather was wacky this week, at least nice enough on Wednesday to get you guys at home. How did it feel to get back home for the first time this year?
Oh, it was great. You know, there's always question about what the field's going to be ready early in the season like that, but the field conditions were good. Weather was good. Some of the players were in shirt sleeves, and they were happy about that. Nice to see the sun shining.
Well, this past winter was a little colder than most. It was colder later. I know coming into the season you were a little concerned about the thawing of that field in general, but as you said, it's come out pretty nicely, huh?
It has. I mean, Wednesday was really nice, and so the field conditions were good. It was almost a little hard because they had packed it down so much. So we got to loosen it up a little bit, and hopefully it'll be good for the rest of the year. You
got plenty of freshmen that have come in this year, and being at home is a little bit different. You got some home responsibilities, keeping the grounds clean and everything like that. How'd the freshmen adjust to that home schedule?
Oh, I think they enjoyed it, you know, and playing in front of their home crowd. Parents were there and things like that, and it's a little nicer. They can stay in class and then get to the field ready for game time. So they adjusted well, and we had a good day.
Parkside obviously does not have the strongest schedule as they're still looking for their first win of the year, but you still know it's a GLIAC opponent coming to town. When there's a team like that that comes in, how do you get the girls up and ready to play? Well,
it's something we've talked about all year long with every opponent. We want to make sure that we're staying focused no matter who we're playing, and we want to keep the you know, the mentality through all 7 innings. And you know, gas pedal down has been kind of our motto this year. Is once we put it down, we want to keep it down. And you know, they did a great job with that with Parkside. And Parkside, you know, they're coming from the Great Lakes Valley and they're used to playing some tough competition. So even though they're still looking for that first win, they're gonna surprise a few people.
Well, in that first game, it didn't quite get to 7 innings thanks to the walk-off home run in the 6th, but a Mercy Rule 8-0 victory. Tell us a bit about Game 1.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. Allison was on the mound, and she threw well again, you know, throughout the inning, so that gave us a chance. We opened up the offense early on and kind of pieced together a couple runs for a few innings there, and then Nicole Mahoman hit a shot in the 6th inning that ended it to give us our 8 runs, and I mean, it was a monster. It was, as soon as it was off the bat, there was no doubt about it, and so I was hoping it wouldn't land on the golf course because we needed that ball back.
Yeah, that was an absolute no-doubt shot, and it's good to see some of those big-time home runs coming from that heart of your order all of a sudden.
Oh, absolutely, and you know, I mean, it's a struggle sometimes to face the pitching that Parkside had. It was quite slower than what we're used to seeing, and so there's always an adjustment to that. And you know, they started being a little more patient, and we started getting some hits strung together, and Nakoma waited on that one and took care of it.
You know, if you look at the stats, Parkside wound up not even throwing the pitcher that is their leading innings getter this year. Did you guys anticipate that, or was that kind of a shock when she wasn't in the circle?
For the first game, some of them, you know, they know Allison's going to go in the first game, and so they maybe think they can sneak Game 2 out or something. So sometimes you never know. Some pitchers don't perform well if they go first one. They got to get a feel for the day, and so you never know what coaches are gonna try to do. And you know, they have their strategies and we have ours, and we came out on top that day.
So when you pick a lineup, do you not necessarily go against whatever pitcher's in the circle? It's more of just your own strategy?
For us, that's what we do. We want to put our best players out there, and you know, we want to try to get Game 1 because that's going to set the momentum for Game 2, and we want to have our strongest lineup out there every game, and so that's our strategy. Other coaches may think differently.
Well, Game 2 comes out with a 7-2 victory for Grand Valley and a really impressive show in the circle once again for Sammy Garrels. Again, she's still getting into softball shape, but 5 innings, awfully impressive. What'd you think of her on?
Yeah, you know, I think Sammy she's just going out there and doing her thing. She's kind of unaware of the opponents and who they are. She's just going out there and throwing strikes and getting outs. And she threw a lot of ground ball outs, and that's exactly what we need out of her. I think the first 6 were straight ground balls to our infield. So that's exactly what we need. And she's just going out and doing her job.
And to see a freshman step up into a role like that as quickly as she has, especially coming off a basketball season, is awfully impressive mentally as well.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we talked a little bit about that before. Sammy's a gamer, and when you give her the ball, she's going to go out there and perform well, at least the best that she can. And you know, she's, again, just coming in, and you know, that's a hard situation, not being as close and as tight as the rest of the team is with each other. But that was one thing that, you know, we've been used to that over the years. We've had several double sport athletes, and so you know, our team just welcomes her right in no matter what. And very supportive.
It's nice when you have a ground ball pitcher to have somebody like Flaherty at shortstop who's been unbelievable on the defensive side so far her senior year.
Oh, absolutely. Shannon, in my opinion, is the best shortstop in the league, and from a defensive standpoint especially. So she just reads the ball extremely well coming off the bat, and then she has an instinct for the speed of the runners and gets the ball to first base pretty quickly.
We got a pretty busy week coming up this week, starting tomorrow at home against Northwood. Tell us about what you got going on this week.
Yeah, Northwood's been playing well. well. They're second place in the conference right now. They won 2 against Parkside yesterday, and they've got a pitcher that's coming back off injuries, and she's been throwing really well. So they're going to be a battle, but I think we'll be ready for them.
All right, should be a fun week. Hopefully the weather cooperates. Try to get 3 doubleheaders in. Good luck, Coach. When we return, we'll take a closer look at GVSU lacrosse with head coach Mackenzie Lawler right here on the Grand Valley State Sports Report. Getting a win after a tough loss is always important, and that's just what the Laker lacrosse team did this week, beating both McKendree and Maryville to improve to 8-3 on the season. Joining us now in studio is head coach Mackenzie Lawler. And coach, your first 2 home games, I think you like playing at home. Is that fair to say? That's
definitely fair to say. We know we had a great crowd in the stands on Friday, and we had beautiful weather for the home opener, and it was just great, I think, for the girls too to get a win over McKendree that's kind of had a good rivalry with Grand Valley in the past and ended their season in 2 tough ways the last 2 years, and it was great to just get back on track and get 2 wins for the GLIAC.
How did it feel to have all your young players get to play at home for the first time?
For the freshmen, Peyton had a great game, especially on Friday. Having 13 saves and only 5 goals against is outstanding. And then it was just really great for some other players who either are young or maybe haven't had as much experience on the field to step up. I thought Ashley Albright had a really good weekend. Lauren Ayatt, who's a freshman, had 2 goals on Sunday. So that was really fun for them to get some experience in front of the home fans and family.
And not only did experience, you had some awards too. You guys sweep the GLIAC Player of the Week awards. Congratulations to Peyton, who had those 13 saves to get Defensive Player of the Week. And then Kelly Fitzgerald, what a weekend for her. 12 assists, including 8 on Friday. She gets Offensive Player of the Week.
It was great for Kelly. As we've talked about the last couple of weeks, we've had a few injuries, and for a senior like Kelly to really step up and just be a quarterback of the offense this weekend was huge. She was really able to distribute the ball well in the McKendree game, and then she came out against Maryville and had 4 goals as well. And so it was really nice to see her be a dual threat on Sunday.
Let's start with that Friday game, 17-5 over McKendree. As you said, a team that has ended the Lakers season the last 2 years. They come out right away and score that opening goal, but you guys responded very nicely.
We did. We went on a big run for ourselves the rest of the first half, and I think it was nice for our girls to we've talked a little bit about, the first goal doesn't mean the end of the game. And so there's a long 60-minute game, and we responded well and scored pretty quickly on our own. And then once we settled down and got comfortable and Carly and Sarah started working really well together on the draw, we were able to go on that run.
I'm glad you mentioned the draw because that seemed like it was key in both of the games this weekend. Carly had 9 draw controls on Sunday, but just being able to be in possession consistently like you guys were seemed massive to your offensive game plan.
For sure. It really helped our offense just with the extra possessions. And then I also think it helped our defense be a little bit more aggressive because we were holding so much of the time of possession. Allowed them to pressure out a little bit and really key into some of the defensive matchups that we had in the games.
With a lopsided score like that, 17-5, oftentimes it's because you just have the ball the entire time. But as we mentioned briefly, Peyton was the reason why it was a 17-5 game. 13 saves, and these weren't no cookie-cutter saves. These were really nice plays.
Yeah, McKendree has 4 really strong offensive players that we keyed in on. All of our 5 starting defenders had matchups against them, and I think they were really able to give Peyton the shots, that she's able to save. And so the other thing that was great about Peyton is she had 0 turnovers for the game, and she was really smart in her clearing decisions, and that just helped us, value the ball and then translate that into goals on the offensive end.
You mentioned some of those injuries forcing position changes. We were talking off air about Megan Yoshida getting those 3 goals on Friday. That was a pretty special moment for her.
It was. I laughed with her that she made our game plan look pretty smart when she went in there on her first offensive day of the whole season and scored 3 goals. And I think it was just great. Again, time and time, we've asked different people to step up, and she started every game for us as a defender, and we totally flipped her on the other side. And she was great through the week of prepping, making sure that she knew the plays, knew where her role was, and then she executed it really well on Friday.
So the big win over McKendree, then you turn around and face Maryville on Sunday, a first-year program, a team that, again, the record doesn't really indicate a great start to their season. It's easy to have a letdown, though, coming off a big win over McKendree, but your girls didn't have that at all.
Yeah, it was great, for us. We've talked about playing 60 minutes and, no matter the opponent, whether it's a team like McKendree or Indy, top of the conference, or a newer program like Maryville or Ashland. And so it's really nice, I think, to see our defense step up and only allow 1 goal through the whole game. And I think we only allowed 2 shots as well. And so that that was just really nice for them to stay focused and finish, even though the ball wasn't on their end as much during that game.
Cool couple of moments. You mentioned Lauren Ayat had those 2 goals, and then Caitlin Burnett also scoring her first goal as a Laker. So some pretty cool moments in that game on Sunday as well.
Yeah, it was awesome. Now all of our offensive players have, scored and gotten their first goal of the season. And, we've even talked before the game about all of our players have put a lot of prep in terms of practice. And now this was just an opportunity to let everyone else see a lot of those moments that we see every day. So it's great for Caitlin and Lauren to really step up.
And all across the field, even if they don't score a goal, just the amount of girls that are able to get some reps in that Maryville game in the second half seems like it's big for the future of this program.
Yeah, we just kind of switched our lineups in and out, and I think it was just nice to see, different people step up. Liv had a great ground ball, and we had, a couple players who just made some amazing plays in the clear, and, it was nice to see them have the opportunity to showcase their skills. On the clear, I believe you guys only allowed 3 successful clears on 20 attempts by Maryville. Some really good pressure from your defenders and your midfielders. Yeah, we've worked a lot on the ride this year. That's one of the things that has probably changed pretty dramatically from last year, with just the style of play. We've moved to more of a high-pressure diamond, and it was great to just see the relentless effort throughout the whole game. No matter what the lineups were, whoever was put in a different position, we executed that very well. Not an off week this week, but just one game go on the road to Davenport. Your last road game of the year already. It's really weird to say that here as we just turned to April, but what can we expect out of Davenport this week? I think Davenport has really improved this year. They continue to grow, and Rob, their coach there, has done a great job of implementing some new things. They're really strong on the draw, and so, with us, that's definitely been a strength of ours this season. So it'll be nice to kind of test that against a team that's also their strength. And so we're excited to, kind of only have one opponent this week. That's nice in terms of our prep. We can really focus on them and be ready to go on Saturday. And it's nice for a road game to be that quick across town. That's true, right? We did all of our travel early on in the year, so it's exciting that this one's just a little bit close and just make it an easy day trip. Well, a short trip on Saturday. Good luck, Coach. Thanks for your time. Congratulations on the win this week. Thank you. When we return, we'll review the baseball team's weekend right here on the Grand Valley State Sports Report. Grand Valley State baseball dropped a 6-2 decision against D1 opponent Central Michigan Tuesday afternoon in Mount Pleasant. GVSU was first on the board in the top of the first inning when center fielder Drake Ellens doubled with 1 out and then scored when Parker Murdy reached on an error. Central Michigan put 3 on the board in the bottom of the first on 2 hits and a Laker error, followed by a single run in the second and 2 more in the third. The Lakers scored a single run in the top of the fifth when Ellens walked, advanced to second on a passed ball, then moved to third on a Murdy groundout. Ryan Blake Jones then doubled to left to score Ellens and cut the Chippewa lead to 4. The Lakers were unable to score in their final 4 at-bats, while 5 GVSU pitchers held Central Michigan off the scoreboard in its final 5 at-bats, limiting the Chippewas to 2 hits while striking out 5. Ellens was 1 for 3 with 2 walks and 2 runs scored, while Murdy, Blake Jones, and Riley Creamer each collected a hit for the Lakers. The team dropped both games of a doubleheader against the Saginaw Valley State Cardinals on Friday afternoon. Both Ryan Blake Jones and Anthony Coco connected for 2 RBIs each to lead the Laker offense, while Drake Ellens, Nathan Bonter, and Joe Loudon all added 1 each. Brendan Nearing was tagged with the loss in Game 1 as he falls to 0-1 on the season, while Rylan Peets falls to an even 2-2 with the loss in Game 2. The Cardinals took an early 1-0 lead over the Lakers in the first game of the Twin Bill after a 2-out single found its way through the right side for the first run of the day in the second inning. Both teams would remain scoreless over the next 5 innings before GVSU took their first lead of the day after a 3-run 6th inning. Coco led off with a single and eventually scored after a Blake Jones single that also brought around Murdy from second base. A suicide squeeze was successful 1 batter later as Ellens laid down a perfect bunt to score a streaking Carpenter from third. Unfortunately, the Cardinals tallied an RBI single and another 2-run single to take a 4-3 lead, which they would hold through the final inning. The Cardinals got on the board early in Game 2 as well, scoring 2 in the bottom of the first. They would add another in the bottom of the third to go up 3-0 as their pitching held the Laker offense down. The Lakers started their comeback bid in the top of the 7th when Lorber was hit by a pitch and Manaville knocked a single into right field before Coco delivered a big 2-out triple to score both and cut the lead in half 4-2. SVSU once again added a run in the 7th, and the Lakers answered with 2 more in the top of the 8th as Bonter and a pinch-hitting Loudon delivered RBI singles. Despite a leadoff single in the top of the 9th inning, the bid came up just short as they fell in another 1-run game, this time 5-4. Saturday and Sunday's games were canceled due to weather and were moved to today at 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. after the taping of this show. After these games, the team will travel to Hillsdale for a single game on Tuesday, then make their 2019 home debut as they take on Davenport for a 4-game series this weekend.
While the GVSU softball team has some impressive veterans on its roster, some freshmen and sophomores are stepping up and contributing to the team's early success. Tom Cleary has the story.
At the start of the season, Dana Callahan had a gaping hole in her lineup on the infield, but only until she penciled in the name of freshman Lydia Goebel. Taking over at third base for four-year starter Tegan Showman, Goebel, who thinks of herself as a line drive hitter, belted 7 home runs for her new team before she had set foot on her home field for the first time March 27th against Wisconsin Parkside.
You know, Lydia was, we saw her early in her junior year and got a pretty early commitment out of her, and just the more we watched her, the more we liked her. We knew she had some pop in her bat, she's got good speed, and again, she's just got tremendous instinct as far as the game goes. She's a shortstop by nature, and you know, but we had an opening at third base, and we figured we had to get her in the lineup somehow, so we kind of worked her around over there, and she's adjusted extremely well.
I wasn't expecting to start in any game, really, and then I came out here and I got the opportunity, and I was very thankful for that. It's definitely a dream come true. I used to be very frustrated with the teams that I played on because there's always 1 or 2 players that didn't really care, just were there to kind of have fun, but I think it's really nice to come out here and have everybody give 100% every day.
Goebel came to Grand Valley as a shortstop, but has adapted quickly at her new position alongside senior Shannon Flaherty. And while Lydia's been the early season leader in long balls, she's starting to get some help in that area from sophomore Nicoma Holman, who's led the Lakers in batting average through the first half of the year. The sophomore from Wyoming was the only regular hitting at better than .400 through the first 24 games, and her only fault so far has been sometimes hitting the ball too hard.
Oh, Nicoma's been hitting the ball hard, and there's been a lot of times she's hit it too hard because it's floated right to people, you know. Just got to find those holes a little bit. And but she's one that's come in with some clutch situations. I think she had the game-winning hit down Florida against Hillsdale. She had a towering home run yesterday, and you know, it's just one of those things that the consistency with her is just tremendous. She understands the at-bat that she's in and the role that she needs to play in whatever that situation is, and she does her best to perform that.
The reason for all of our success is just our teammates. They push us every day, our coaches push us every day. We had a hard off season, we worked hard every day, got better every day, and you know, that's the reason why we're doing so well. While
Callahan is hoping the offense will continue to get stronger as the spring weather improves, a bigger concern right now is the pitching staff. With number 2 starter Hannah Beatis out indefinitely through a hand injury, a pair of freshmen are being summoned to take up the slack. Chicagoan Hannah Deek and Grand Rapids area product Samantha Girls, who didn't join the softball team until the end of her season as a reserve on Mike Williams' basketball squad.
Well, obviously I'd love to be able to play both sports all throughout my career here at Grand Valley, and I mean, both programs have been awesome, and I really enjoy both of my teams and my coaches, and so I hope to be able to have like a great career here and make the most of it.
Well, we've got 2 freshmen this year, and we want to kind of get both of them some innings to kind of get them ready for if we need them later down the line. Sammy pitched also against Wayne State and did a great job there, and so we're still working her into pitching shape, just from coming off of basketball and things like that. So, but Sammy's a gamer. You know, when you give her the ball, she's ready to go, and she'll do whatever it takes. So we knew she was going to come in and give us a pretty good performance, and we just need her to kind of get a little bit more pitching shape, so to speak, so she can close those games out potentially.
Against Parkside, Girls was impressive, throwing 5 innings of no-hit ball while moving her record to 2-0. As long as senior All-America hurler Allison Lepovsky stays healthy, Grand Valley can probably get by with just 3 pitchers, especially if Girls and Lydia Goebel continue to show the ability they've demonstrated so far. Goebel's slugging percentage is currently the best on the team, and she also is Grand Valley's leading base stealer. If she continues hammering the ball the way she has in the first month of the season, she'll be the breakout player in a group of freshmen who could help push their team past its 44-win total of a year ago. For the Grand Valley State Sports Report, I'm Tom Cleary.
That's all the time we have this week on the Grand Valley State Sports Report. GVSU baseball heads to Hillsdale on Tuesday before opening their home schedule in a series against Davenport this weekend. The softball team hosts Northwood for a doubleheader on Tuesday, then hits the road to compete against Saginaw Valley State on Thursday and Ferris State on Sunday. GVSU lacrosse heads out on a short trip to Davenport on Saturday for their only game of the week. After some individual success down in Florida and North Carolina, the GVSU track and field teams will compete in the MSU Spartan Invite on Friday and Saturday. And finally, the men's tennis team takes on Ashland and Wayne State this weekend. For a complete schedule of all Laker games as well as stories across the entire athletic program, visit GVSULakers.com. To see more of this show, head to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/WGVU35. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to get updated video and highlights all year long. For the entire crew here at WGVU, I'm Jake Levy. Have a great week, Laker Nation, and anchor up.